Hello, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be talking about custom walk cycles in dreams. The first thing I would recommend is don't do it because it's very difficult. But I'm going to show this example where you can't really use the blank puppet. Like if it's an animal, a four-legged animal of some kind, you can't really do the procedural animations, and therefore you might have to create something completely custom. So here is a horse by Willow the Bob, who is a genius because not only does it have a walk cycle, it has different different modes here. It has a kind of slow walk, and then it's kind of like a trot, a little bit faster, a kind of jog cycle, and then a full-on sprint. So if you want to learn more about walk cycles and all that, there are creators a lot more capable at doing that than me. So check out Willow the Bob. The horse is remixable, so let's have a look at how Willow the Bob made the horse. So first thing you want to do is go into X-Ray and see how it was made. This is crazy. Alright. Microchip. Turn animations, tilt. So if you really want to see how a professional does it, probably check out this creation here on how the custom walk was done. And yeah, it's very difficult to do custom animation, which is why I avoid it. And in animation, a horse is probably one of the most difficult things to animate. So here's Willow the Bob kind of flexing their ability, their animation skills. So this is the hind legs. This is the front legs. Yeah, pretty crazy. I'm looking at this and I have no idea what the heck is going on. Here's the trot animation. There's a custom timeline with the trot. And you can see it does have a skeleton to it. It's custom rigged. This is actually crazy. That's a lope. I didn't even know that was a technical term that you would call a horse loping. But there you go. It just requires a lot of work, which I have no clue how they did it. This is probably the highest level of custom walk cycles that you will ever see in Dreams. But even though it's a high level custom animation, if you spin the horse, there's no animation accommodating for the spin. So to do the spin, you also have to maybe do a spin animation. And then if you're totally sprinting, it just looks odd. If you push on the L stick kind of randomly, like there are still flaws to it, but that would require a whole heap more logic. So the angle sensors are probably the thing that's keeping the feet from clipping through the ground here. So there are hills that go up and down, and the angle sensor is keeping the feet aligned with the terrain, which is really impressive. Like, this is Red Dead Redemption 2 level of animation. Absolutely insane. I can search for another one that has custom animation. So this cat has custom animation to it. It's a four-legged animal. It doesn't use the blank puppet. So here's the walk cycle. Basically, for custom walks, you'll see there's always a timeline where there's a walk cycle, there's a run cycle. The thing that you'll find in common with custom walks is like they have custom timelines like this with looping animation to it. So here's a custom run animation that loops start frame and the last frame. They just have to be slightly similar. And then all you need to do is, in its simplest form, there's a whole lot of in between like the left stick to the actual walk cycle and run cycle. And it's totally up to each individual on how they do it and what kind of response you want. Whatever's happening in between here, from point A, the left stick, to point B, this is something that you might want to look into and kind of study and see how pushing the left stick actually makes these things move and how it all reacts. What you want to do is maybe pin the logic to the screen. Here's the animation with the walk cycles and the run cycle. And if I scope into it, you can see if I push on the left stick, it is playing through the walk cycle. And if I hold X and push on the left stick, it is basically playing through the run cycle. Those are two examples of custom animation. This one doesn't have a walk cycle because if you scope into it and go to the behavior, it's actually using the blank puppet. What they've done, they've removed some of the arms and like modified the puppet a little bit. This does not look like a person at all, but it is driven by procedural animation and some extra bits to it to make it unique. It has a more natural turn around. When you turn the puppet around, the feet are kind of turning accordingly based on how you're spinning the L stick. So that's the advantage of using procedurals. I think Ice Cream Cheese, they have amazing rigs here. This is procedural animation as well with two legs, but they've added a whole bunch of limbs. Yeah, check out Ice Cream Cheese because they have a whole bunch of crazy rigs here as well that break the blank puppet. Yeah, there are people that are doing custom walk cycles and animations that know a lot more about it than I do. And my starting point would probably be looking at what they've created and kind of breaking down what they made. It's a pirate alligator. Like, these are all different types of characters. Like, look at this walk or run cycle. And this is using the springiness and let's just check it out. Let's see how they did it. Yeah, this one is just purely driven by procedural animation, and all they would do to kind of pose it like that, like if you scope into the run here, they might make the pose slouch a little bit. And what they've done here is they've played around with the sliders. L1X on any of them like here's the walk cycle happening. So you can kind of preview the walk cycle and then just play around with these sliders and see what kind of walk that you want. So here's lumberness, there's arm vigor, there's springiness, probably a little less of that. It's also automatically looking at the imp, so you can turn off auto look, so it doesn't look at the imp anymore. There's arm vigor. You can make his arms move a little bit more. There's arm flailing. And then with the run, like if I want it to feel beefier, you just turn down the springiness, and yeah, now it's kind of like this beefy kind of run. If you want full-on zombie, you just turn up the springiness and now it's a zombie alligator. And then with the feet separation, if you want it to move like quicker, like there's a lot you can do here. T-Rex tread. Stridiness is this how much the feet move. Yeah, so just play around with these sliders, and like especially if you're animating something with 2 feet, you know, the procedurals is more than enough. I'm just going to show you what else you can do with procedurals. You can pose these differently so that it has a unique run or something. And that's all you got to do when you're working with procedurals. So then I can maybe make the arms move out like he's flying or something, I don't know. You press R3, there's like the preview of the run. So maybe I want the arms to flail out a little bit more. Probably not that springy. And then maybe I want the feet to move faster. So I might go with the min stride time. I don't know what kind of context you would want this particular run to be in, but that's just an example on what you can do with like the procedurals. Custom animation is just something that takes a lot of time and effort. At the end of the day, like, I don't know what kind of walk that you want. Like, if it's just a walk, a normal kind of walk, a normal kind of run, I do highly recommend using the inbuilt tools that Media Molecule has already created. But if you really want to do custom animation, just know that there's a lot of logic behind it and a lot of work.